So now we'll follow the program as described. And those who can, please rise, remove your hats, and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Remain standing for a second for not the blessing of the food, but the blessing on us.
This is always what allow me to do. Before you guys started eating, I blessed the food, so I made sure everything was okay. I hope you enjoyed the food. Enjoy the evening. God bless you. Amen.
Thank you, Dave. Thanks to everybody in the kitchen. Nice job. I'd like to welcome everyone to the Millville Elks Sports Frolic. Cheese is not here this evening for the first time that I can ever remember. He's okay, he just couldn't make it. So would Rich Fish please lead us in the Eagles cheer because Cheese is not here. Where you at, Fish? Now that that's out of the way, tonight we have a great speaker, perfectly timed for all the Eagle fans. Ike Reese will be here and is eagerly anticipating this evening. It is great to see everyone again. This evening is always the best night of the Elk year, in my humble opinion. At this time, I wish to extend a warm thank you to Cindy Webster of Cindy Webster's Connects and Dave Hitchner for their part in securing tonight's speaker. Took all the heat off of me. Dave worked very hard on this, and it took a lot of pressure off my shoulders. Thank you, Jim Quinn and QBC, for coverage of the event. Thank you to our major sponsors, Sideline Sports Bar, Teddy Lambert, and the Authority of Cumberland County. The Elks are grateful for the support. Thank you to Killer Clam Breaks, the Casaboon Boys, for their generous contribution of tickets and programs. If you're interested in being a sponsor of this event, flyers have been placed on all the tables. Feel free to look at it, see if it interests you. It's going to help keep the cost of this event down as it constantly rises through food costs and whatnot. Acknowledgement in our newsletter, and starting next year, a banner. Where's Barry Fisher? We need to chat a little bit. Barry of CNS Signs will be present at the event and post a banner with everyone's name on it. Your support will assist in continuing to have good speakers, great food, and to keep down the cost of the evening. I would like to recognize our dignitaries this evening. County Business Administrator Kevin Spignato. Millville Mayor Ben Romanick. And Carol Casaboon, City Commissioner. Former Mayor Jim Quinn. Former Police Chief Ron Harvey. Jody Farabella. I had a really good joke for you, being the most recent retired police. We got a whole case of Ensure out back, but you don't need it anymore. Kind of ruined my joke.
Hey, Kevin, how you been? Here we go.
It is my sad duty to announce the loss of a previous award winner. A friend to everyone, Dick Andrews passed since our last sports frolic. Keep his family in mind. The boys are right here. Dave Hewlett. We lost Dave this year, and this is the first year that he didn't introduce me to his sons for the last 15 years.
Still Nice to meet you, Captain.
Dave and Vaughn, I meet them every year. Present this evening from past J. Malcolm Beebe Award winners, we have Carl Frank. You don't have to get up, Carl. He's right over here, number 2. Jim Wynn. Ronnie Durham in the back. Marty Cavanaugh. And a guy we haven't seen in a while, mostly my fault, but he's back, Joe LeBon. And you boy, William Paul Ewan Jr. Present, past Outstanding Millville Athlete Award winner, the effervescent Joe Taylor. Where are you, Joe? Oh, there he is. Table 1.
Number 1, he's number 1.
Coach Tony Cerace. Good to see you, Coach. Captain Dave Sharpless in the back. Sex Ed Andrews. Class of 76, you will always be Sex Ed. Come on. And just to give us a plug, to the Elk members present, I want to remind you that the Millville Elks will begin our 125th year on April 1st. We have some good events planned to celebrate throughout the year. Keep an eye on the newsletter for info, and if you're not a member and you care to consider joining Millville's oldest and largest community service organization, see me later for an application. I'll hook you up. I would consider it an honor to sponsor any one of you. And here's where I call the tables out, but we beat that this year. Moving right along to the J. Malcolm Beebe Award winner. I noticed my name was too much on the right-hand side of the column, so I'm going to call on Jim Quinn to do the honors of this award. Feel free to silence your phones.
He's not very good at public speaking.
Yeah, bear with Jim. He's not really good in front of the camera.
He's not going to sell anything yet.
Wow. Good evening, everybody. I think we should hold this twice a year because I love seeing everybody once a year, but I'd like to see it twice a year. It would be wonderful. What a great job, Kevin. Thank you, and everybody at the Elks. This is one of the highlights, I think, for all of us each year that we're doing it. And before this is an honor for me to talk about Malcolm Beebe Award because Ron Durham and I have been longtime friends. And Ron tells the story that because of Malcolm Beebe, Ron grew up on the right side of the tracks. Malcolm took him down to National Little League, made sure he was there, and told his mom, because Ron's dad had passed away very young, and he was going to be like a second father to Ron. And Ron, we always talk about him and how wonderful he was to you and to all of us who knew him. And tonight, we're going to be honoring a person that certainly exemplifies what Malcolm Beebe did for our entire community. I saw Carl Frank on the way in. And Carl Frank was to the Holly City Midget Football League. What the guy that I'm going to introduce you to tonight is to the Millville Soccer Association. One of the best people I know. Actually, he does shows with me, and he gets better ratings than I do, so I don't have him on too much. I don't want to give him too big of a head. But our Malcolm Beebe Award winner is right here with me. And I want to mention, too, that he has two beautiful daughters, Katie and Megan. It's Newell Brannon. Yes, Newell, he's looking at you. And Newell is dispatcher for my One Center, and he is also very active at St. Paul's Lutheran Church in Millville. And I don't know of anybody that I know that exemplifies 23 years. Nolan's have been out to the Soccer Association. 23 years running, and hundreds of kids. And as my grandchildren were there, they love being there. The organization, getting all the coaches, and doing all the things you're doing. No, I don't know anybody that exemplifies what Malcolm Beebe did for the community more than you do. So ladies and gentlemen, how about a nice big round of applause for our recipient, Malcolm Beebe, award-winning Cooley Grammy.
Put him in the middle of
it. Somebody take a picture. Yeah. Send it to me.
Somebody grab my phone.
Get the middle.
Face red.
The rose.
Oh boy, you gave it to the wrong guy.
Each one $7. I'll send it to you.
Josh, you don't know. The button in the middle.
Thanks, Noel.
Thank you.
I'd like to say something.
Definitely a surprise and an honor. So thank you, everybody. Thank you very much.
Congratulations, Noel. Thank you, Jim. Next is the presentation of the Outstanding Athlete Award. At this time, I'd like to call on Barry Smith to present the award. Barry?
Thank you, Kevin. Isn't this a great event? They apparently can't afford a mic stand here. Okay, thanks for the introduction, Kevin. Where did he go? Okay.
I have to go to the restroom.
Number one or number two? Okay, he might not be back real quick. As Kevin said, I'm Barry Smith, but I'm not the most well-known Barry Smith from the city of Millville. The honor goes to Barry Smith, who owned Colonial Flowers on High Street. I think about half of you know me, or half at least have heard of me, especially members of the former and current police department. Then and now, I keep telling you guys I didn't do it. I was not involved. You and your forensics. Again, Millville's best-known Barry Smith was surely the one who owned Colonial Flowers. He did a hell of a lot for the city of Millville. For many years, he was the director of the Millville Christmas parades, and he also organized parades for the Babe Ruth World Series. For 5 years, he produced the Miss New Jersey pageant, directed the Miss Cumberland County pageant for more than 17 years, and was instrumental in bringing dozens of Miss Americas and Miss New Jerseys to Millville. Who would have ever thought that Barry would be the one who brought so many hot women to Millville? If you know, you know. Sadly, Barry passed away in 2005 at the age of 49. He's gone but not forgotten. For his service to the city of Millville, let's give him a well-deserved round of applause. Thank you. Barry rests in Greenwood Memorial Park and still has a connection to flowers. He's pushing up daisies. Too soon? Barry was a friend of mine, so I think I can get away with that. My girlfriend, Michelle Jackson, is seated at table 14. She and I operate Smith & Jackson Military Antiques and Firearms at the Millville Airport, next to the Glasstown Brewing Company. Anybody been there? Tonight, the owners of the brewery, Paul and Jen Simmons, are attending the Sports Frolic for the first time and are seated at Mayor Ben Romanick's table. Table number 1. What a combination. Guns, beer, and a politician. Also seated at table 14 are two former Millville High School athletes. My brother, Mickey Smith, and Carl Davis, who has been my neighbor since 1972. Mickey was on the baseball team in 1976 and ran cross country and track in 1977 and 1978. Carl attended Millville Memorial High School from 1960 and graduated in 1964. He was a member of the track and field team from 1960 to 1963, and he played football for all 4 years of his high school years. Now, for the past year, the Elks board members debated for and against these two dedicated athletes to receive the Old Time Athlete Award, often not leaving the bar until well after midnight. It was a very tough decision for the Elks committee to choose between these two athletes, but here goes. My brother, Mickey Smith, did not make the cut. This year's Old Time Athlete Award goes to Carl Davis. Carl's immediate family is here tonight. His wife, Carol. Where are you, Carol? There she is.
Come here, Carl.
His daughter, Sandy. Her husband, Scotty. And Carl's grandchildren, Casey and Tristan. By the way, Casey happens to be holding Carl's high school jacket. Awesome, Casey. Thanks for bringing that along. It's very fragile now. Shortly before, let me see, hang on. Shortly before the start of his freshman year, Carl was injured in a car accident. He missed the first few days at high school, which limited his pick of football jersey numbers. Carl chose 51, a number he wore from the beginning to the end of high school. After he graduated, Jack Robinson took on number 51, and there were some tough cleats to fill. There's Jack right there. Stand up. He is, he said. There were many highlights in Carl's high school athletic career, but I would like to address one particular football game during his sophomore year. Take a swig, close your eyes, and we'll travel back in time. On October 7th, 1961, a Saturday morning, the Millville Thunderbolts were bused to West Orange in North Jersey. Upon their arrival, the athletic director of West Orange apologized for giving Millville the wrong exit on the Garden State Parkway, which delayed Millville's arrival. Was this a mistake? The jury is still out. From the start of the game, the Thunderbolts completely dominated. In the second half of the game, Coach John Barbos decided to use the second and third string players, including Carl, who was a third string running back. From about the 40-yard line of West Orange, Millville's quarterback, Bub Clark, threw a swing pass to Carl, which Carl caught, giving him a clear run into the end zone. However, on the 3rd-yard line, just short of the goal, Carl tripped in a small hole. At least this is the story he tells.
3 yards!
It was this play that earned the nickname, Carl the nickname 3-yard, right? Which many of his fellow students called him in high school, especially Tom Ayers. There's Tom. Oh, is he the one who said that? Okay. Right. Could it be that the West Orange athletic director who gave faulty directions to the Thunderbolts bus driver dug that hole? Something to think about. However, the very next play, Carl redeemed himself by running the ball into the end zone for a touchdown. The following day, an article appeared in the Millville Daily about the game. The paper reported that the Thunderbolts made plenty of mistakes during the game, but still won with ease. Here's a rather humorous line from the write-up that shows the Bolts weren't exactly playing their A game. I quote, "Millville had 2 touchdowns recalled because of penalties and set some sort of record in losing 130 yards through 14 penalties." The final score of the game was Millville 45, West Orange 7. A slaughter just like the recent Eagles-Chiefs Super Bowl game. Of Carl's many high school athletic achievements, I want to mention just one more. In his senior year, on November 28, 1963, he played his part in defeating the Vineland Clan in the 68th annual Millville-Vineland Thanksgiving rivalry. The final score was 13-6. And as any Millvillian who will tell you who was there, the turkey tasted a lot better that day. Ladies and gentlemen, I present the man who keeps Pabst Blue Ribbon in business, number 51, 3-yard Carl Davis.
Hold on to that for a second. Carl Davis, in recognition of your outstanding accomplishments in the field of track, the Millville Elks 580 is proud to honor you as a 2025 Outstanding Millville Athlete. I was offered a lot of money to put 3-yard on this, and I didn't do it. Where's your wife? Rick, pictures. Come on in here. Got them all? Got everybody?
Same spot, Rick. Same spot.
You know how bashful he is watching this.
All I can say is thank you, and I didn't expect it.
Thank you, Carl. Just pick one. You can do it from down there if you want. I should have thought of that. All right, the first door prize is a $100 Visa certificate to lucky number 32. Jack Robinson III, number 51. See that? Carl brought you luck. I knew it was you. I knew it was your table anyway. You're gonna pass that over your grandpa. 5, pick one. No looking, no peeking.
One long beer with it.
The next door prize, wow, shake your balls up or something. 23.
Yeah, baby.
This whole thing's under protest.
That's 32 again.
Oh, that's only $5. We know where that's going.
I got to get these out of the way because once Mr. Reese comes up here, you guys ain't going to have no time for any of this stuff. Dave, pick one, please. No peeking. If you pick your own, you're beat. Oh, much better. 212. It's one of the last ones. One of the last ones sold. 212. Carl Frank. Go ahead, Carl. Here you go. Thanks, Carl. Carl's our only two-time winner of the J. Malcolm Beebe Award. Hey, Mike, while you're walking by, grab one.
Grandma?
You want? $25 gift certificate, number 49. 49. Well, like I'm going to see what
Hey, you guys, ticket. They can show you the ticket.
That's a prison card trying to get us on the road. Come on, man.
Don't offer him a few words.
Somebody gave it to him. Jimmy, want to grab one more? The last one? Martin? Jimmy Martine. The last one, $25 winner is 134. 134. I have no idea where that one is.
I got it.
All right. Here you go, you boy. You boy. All right. Congratulations. How about the fishing pole? Good old Bucky Lynch. I don't know if you guys know him or not. He's a life member here, Wills. He was taught how to do fishing rods by the great Freddie Clawwater, and he swears he ain't as good as him, but I don't know. So this is a 7.5-foot rod. Sorry to the Vineland guys that are here. This is all Millville right here. Orange and blue. It says Thunderbolts on there somewhere. But hey, you can paint it gray and red, I guess. Sure, right? Glenn Cranefield's the winner. He's not here tonight. So that's definitely it.
You gotta be here.
He had to work. There's a few guys here that had to work. I shudder at the thought. All right, the 50-50 for the winner is $630. Cindy Webster, can I get you to come up and draw this, please? Cindy? Please, please.
I'm afraid they're going to get mad at me when I don't draw them.
That's why I called you up. They are not getting mad at you. All right, thank you, darling. Last four numbers. Oh, it's a red ticket. 1, 2, 2, 4. 1, 2, 2, 4. Digamos happy, no? 1, 2, 2, 4. Come on now. Stevie Pierce. Stevie Pierce, $630. All right. Everybody had their restroom break? Let's get on with the good stuff. Our guest speaker tonight, Isaiah Ike Reese, was born in October '73 in North Carolina, Jacksonville, North Carolina, but he moved young to, help me out, Ike, I lost it. Okay. Attended Woodward High School in Cincinnati as a freshman. Come on up here, Ike. He graduated from Macon in '93. There he is.
Cheese isn't here because he's not wearing a tie.
That's right. Ladies and
I had
gentlemen,
to get
Ike
up here
Reese.
before you gave out my social security number. What you do, go to Wikipedia? What you do?
Yeah, I did. Look.
What we doing? We got video? We got video?
Oh, no, not here. It's back there. Back there and over there.
Oh, yeah, you're on tape.
Oh, we're on tape.
It might be live.
So I'm trying to figure out what we're doing here.
Okay.
Yeah, talk
So,
to me.
you know what?
Well, we only got one microphone?
Yeah, explain victory. What's with your what's with the spelling out of victory every day?
Well, we don't spell out victory. It's when the Eagles win, we yell, victory! That's what we do.
All right. I don't know if you're going to give this answer out, but everybody wants to know what Ike Juice is.
Well, Ike Juice. Okay. Well, here's the thing with Ike Juice. Ike Juice is, it's whatever your drink of choice is. Right? So whatever your happy space is with your spirit that you need, that's what Ike Juice is. It's not one thing. Now for me particularly, it's stateside vodka with ginger ale and a little lemonade. Now that's me. That's me. But your Ike Juice can be anything. So I had to go to that because, you know, when this first started like 7 years ago, with my producer, he caught me in a moment of being excited about the Eagles and what was going on with them prior to the season. And I must have just spontaneously yelled out something to the effect of, they must be drinking that Ike Juice, right? And that started something. So long story short is that my kids wanted to know what Ike Juice was. So at that time, they certainly were 12, 13 years old. So I had to modify what Ike Juice was for everyone. So Ike Juice is whatever your happy juice is of your choice. And I got to keep that PG. You know what I mean? I see kids in here somewhere. Yeah, there we go.
Very good. Very good. Without giving up your social security number, tell us about your family.
My current family or my...
Yes.
I know you meant like my family with my wife and kids.
Yeah, that's
or
what I meant.
you meant like mom, dad, brothers, all of that type of stuff. Right?
You can do all that.
Like, first time doing this.
You don't think so, right?
Doing it.
We're over.
All right, so here we go. So I'll give you somewhat of a... You want to take over?
Yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah, all right. So we get rid of awkward questions, the Q&A session. Now, if I need you to jump back in here, you jump back in here. But all right. So just give you a little bit of my background. You know, born in North Carolina, which is not really that important, quite frankly. I mean, I lived there until I was like 5 or 6 years old. But I'm from Cincinnati. I'm from Cincinnati, Ohio. Raised by a single parent. My dad, you know, passed away unfortunately at a very young age for him and for me as a child at 2 years old. So I never got a chance to actually really know my dad. And my mom, you know, was a single mom that raised me and my brothers. Growing up in Cincinnati, where the majority of my family is at, and you know, like most kids, you know, you find sports, right? We find sports to get into, and that's what I did. I played sports growing up, you know, whether it was baseball, whether it was basketball, volleyball, football. You know, I played sports to kind of just, you know, keep myself active and out of the way for the most part, you know, from being in any type of trouble or what have you. So, you know, I was able to get through high school pretty good, and you know, at some point, you know, just going through my high school years of playing ball, you know, basketball was pretty much the sport that I wanted to be doing. That was the sport I really had the love for. You know, football was something that, you know, I played in the neighborhood with the kids and what have you. I felt like I was good at it, but it wasn't something I necessarily loved doing. Basketball was what I truly loved doing. And, you know, it took for my high school football coach to persistently asked me to come out for the football team. We didn't have a lot of kids going out for football at the high school I was at. And so he eventually got me to come out my junior year. And had a decent year as a high school football player. And, Michigan State wound up recruiting me along with, a few other schools. But Michigan State was a school that was in the Big Ten that, I got excited about. I got recruited by Cincinnati, Ball State, Illinois, Indiana, a couple other smaller schools. But Michigan State was a school that, from the Big Ten that showed me the most interest. And that was the school that I wanted to go to eventually. So I wound up going there, coming out of high school. Now I played 1 year of high school football. I can see already over here, this little section right here. Y'all been live all night over here in this little corner right here, man. Y'all been live over here in this corner over here. All right, I just wanted to know I put the spotlight on them over there because I can hear them in my ear over there. Actually, when I was sitting down, I was interested in the conversation that was going on there. Y'all had a lot going on over there, man. Exciting over there. So yeah, I played 1 year of high school football, right? And the reason why I played 1 year of high school football is because when I was in the 10th grade, I wound up dropping out of high school. So I wound up dropping out of high school, and for about a year, I was just out there floating, getting in trouble and things of that nature. But I eventually wound up getting back in, became a dad at an early age. That kind of motivated me to get back into high school and want to make something of myself. So once I got back in, football was a sport that I picked up and I excelled at it. But because it was going into my senior year, it would have been my 5th year in high school, I was not eligible to play. So, I was fortunate that Michigan State saw enough in me that they still wanted to offer me a scholarship, even after only playing 1 year of high school football. And so the loyalty that they showed me made me want to go to Michigan State that much more. And, it's probably the best decision I made, going there, going to school, and, being I like to call myself just a raw athlete at that time. Just being pretty much a raw athlete. I wouldn't even consider myself an actual football player during those years. I was just sort of this raw athlete that still needed to be molded and sculpted and coached into being whatever it is Michigan State saw in me to offer me a scholarship. And so eventually, that started to take place during my time at school. And, during my time at school, eventually won a starting job and became a pretty good player there. By the time I left Michigan State, I was the 3rd all-time leading tackler at the school. I was a 3-time all-conference player. I was an MVP of the team. I was a 3rd-team All-American. And I had been coached by some of the best coaches that I could be coached by, including the greatest college football coach ever, Nick Saban. So I got a chance to play for Nick Saban during my time at Michigan State for 3 years. And, during that time there, as you answered about the family, I met my wife during my time at Michigan State. So, my wife, who, quite frankly, we celebrated our 23rd anniversary yesterday. 23rd anniversary yesterday. I say 23rd, but it's like 30 years though, man. I count the time I put in prior to the marriage. And as men, we know it, right? We know it, so we're talking about 30 years that me and Renee have been in each other's lives, since we were kids. And got 2 beautiful kids out of it. So I got 3 kids in total. Michael, Elijah, and Jada, 2 boys and a girl. Jada's my youngest. So that, and then I got drafted by the Eagles. All right, I bored you with all my adolescence years and my college years. So I got drafted by Philadelphia in the 5th round. out of Michigan State in 1998. You guys are old enough in this room, I can tell. No offense to the younger guys. You guys remember Ray Rhodes, right? Yeah, so Ray Bob was my head coach. Yeah, shout out to Ray, man. Listen, if it wasn't for Ray and that staff, I wouldn't be here. So, you know, in that class was myself, Trey Thomas, Jeremiah Trotter. We traded for Hugh Douglas with our second round draft pick in that 1998 draft. So I came in with some pretty good players in 1998. And now listen, we weren't very good. We know we're living on Easy Street right now. We got Super Bowls and everything going on with the Eagles. When I first got here, it was tough. You know, and the 90s were a tough time for Eagles fans and for the Eagles organization to sort of gain that footing. And so, you know, being drafted here in my early years, the thing that I think back on that time, it's really what shaped and molded me into the Eagle fan that I am today. And I know I'm a former player and I played for the team, so I consider myself alumni, but I'm an Eagle fan. Like, I'm an Eagles fan. Like, I've been here 27 years. I've been here 27, going on 28 years now, and I've been through the good times, the bad times, the tough times. I've shed tears. I feel like I've learned what it means to be an Eagles fan, right? Through the tough times and the great times. That's why we appreciate these times so much more. That's why our fan base is different than some of these other fan bases, because we've suffered through those tough times. We've gone through those tough times. But I'll tell you, for me, those tough times in my early years helped shape me not only as an Eagles fan, but as a young man. You know, coming out here, being a professional athlete in a big city, on your own, left to sort of figure it out, while trying to be the best you can be at your craft. I feel like this area helped raise me, right? Like, helped me become the man that I am. And that's why I always consider it like this is home. People always, they ask me where I'm from. Obviously, people know where I'm from. I'm from Cincinnati, right? I'll never forget where I'm from. But home is home. Home is where the heart is. And this is where home has been for 27 years. So this is home to me. This is home to me. So playing with the Eagles in my earlier years, man, I still remember when I almost got cut my rookie year. Like, my rookie year, we were struggling to win games, and, you know, what I built my career on as a special teamer and as a backup player and a role player, that was hard for me to sort of figure out how to do in my rookie year. You know, I hadn't played special teams when I was at Michigan State during that time. You know, I was a starter all those years, so figuring out how to play special teams and be effective was difficult for me in my rookie year. And it wasn't because there was a lack of effort, it was more or less a lack of know-how. And man, I was getting like a penalty every game, like at least one penalty every game. And some of them were stupid penalties too. Like,
It was your fault.
yeah, well, you know what though? It was in part because I was trying to change the fortune of what was going on. We were losing every week. Like, we were losing every week. And it's one thing to lose. We were losing bad. We just weren't very good in 1998. So I remember out there a Monday Night Football game against the Dallas Cowboys. Right? Yeah. So I believe this is my first experience with the Dallas Cowboys. Like, I didn't grow up hating the Cowboys. I didn't. I grew up hating the Cleveland Browns and the Pittsburgh Steelers. I was a Bengals fan. Like, that's what I grew up as. But I learned about the Dallas Cowboys and the Philadelphia fan base. So we're playing the Cowboys on Monday night. And if you know Ray Rhodes, you know, Ray had special ways of giving pregame speeches, right? I hadn't heard any of these speeches before in my life. And You know, he was talking about things, if these cameras weren't here, I'd be able to say exactly the things he was talking about. But in today's age, I can't trust him to get out there. Next thing you know, I'll be going viral somewhere for saying something that Coach Rhodes said. But for those who knew Coach Rhodes back then, he had a colorful way of trying to motivate us and like paint these pictures in your mind, these images of people violating your family and your family members and things. I was so fired up before this game, I wanted to kill everybody on the Dallas Cowboys. I really did. I wanted to kill everybody on the Cowboys. And I just remember going out there that night, man, and I think I got like 2 personal fouls, or 2 or 3 personal fouls, holding calls, and it was just terrible for me that night. And the ironic part about that, and I'll get to obviously what I'm doing now, but what? No, hell no, we didn't win. We lost 34-0. We lost 34-0. I committed multiple penalties, and Angelo Cataldi the next morning is telling me I should be cut off the team on WIP. Like, that's what was going on the next morning on the radio. And so I remember getting called into the office by John Harbaugh, who was our special teams coach. You know, the Ravens coach now. He was our special teams coach then. And I've been knowing Harb since he recruited me in high school out of Cincinnati. Long story short, I actually told him I was going to go to Cincinnati, and I changed my mind, and he wasn't happy about that. But you know, we got over it. We eventually got over that. But so he turns out to be my special teams coach my rookie year, and he calls me into the office that Monday, and he's telling me, "Dude, they ready to cut you. They are ready to get rid of you. You gotta cut out the penalties." So he had basically fought to keep me on the team, and he just told me how dire it was, that I needed to sort of become better at my craft. So I say all that to say is that early in my career that I struggled with finding an identity in the NFL as to who I could be as a player and how I could fit in. And you know, my earlier part of my career, those tough times sort of helped mold me into what I became as a player in the NFL. And we had a lot of great times during my career playing with the Eagles. We won a lot of big games. You know, obviously we lost the game at the end of the year that, you know, always put a sour taste in our mouth about the season. But you know what? As I get older, I learned to appreciate those times a lot more, because a lot of those guys that I played with, we share something in common, which is that disappointment and that feeling of letting everyone down as opposed to bringing joy to everyone. We share that in common. And so there's no way to escape that. So I say that to say a lot of those guys I'm close with. They're like my brothers. Our families are close. Our kids are close. And I love that time I played for Andy Reid and the Eagles during that time. We didn't win a Super Bowl, but I look at where the organization is now, and we got 2 championships in the last 8 years. You know, I feel like we were a part of what started that foundation and what set the standard for what it is now. So I feel proud from that standpoint. You know, now listen, that's a coping mechanism also. If not, we go crazy. Yeah, yes. Last week I was like, God damn, how come we couldn't win one Super Bowl? We had teams that was good too. We were good enough to win. We didn't win one. Okay, but yes, I get that way every year around the Super Bowl, because that's just because I know how good we were during that time. And it's disappointing. And believe me, we all shared that disappointment during that era, that we didn't get it done. But I feel like speaking with a lot of my former teammates, and we all do keep in close contact. We're just as proud of these guys. You know, the guys in 17, the first team to win it, the guys that won it a couple weeks ago, we're all part of that Eagles family. And so we feel like we're a part of it when they win it. So we're happy that the Eagles organization and the Eagles fan base they get to be shown in the light that they deserve to be shown in, as a top tier organization and the best fans in the country. Just bar none. And now we got championships to back that up. We got championships to back that up. So during my time with the Eagles, it was awesome. And I finished up in Atlanta. Well, don't bring up the fight on Monday night. Yes, we all got warts. Yes, as family members, you got to excuse some of our warts. That's one wart that you had to excuse for me in Atlanta, but it happened. But you know, even the 2 years I spent in Atlanta, I always thought about being back here, moving back here, preparing for when my career was over with, to be back here. And you know, during the time that when I was a player, you know, I thought about what I wanted to do when my career was over with. You know, being a backup player, a role player, especially in the NFL, you don't know when your career is going to end. So I had to be prepared for that. I knew what I wanted to do when I finished playing, and I knew where I wanted to do it. And I always knew I wanted to be back here. So even during my playing days, I was involved with the local media, whether it's through radio, whether it's through TV, obviously being out in the community, outreach programs, just making sure that this community in this area knew that I wanted to be a part of their community, that I wanted to be here, that I was going to be here. And this community, when I say this community, I mean as a Philadelphia sports fan base. That's the Delaware Valley, that's South Jersey, that's the entire area. I've lived in
True South Jersey.
I've lived in South Jersey since I've been here. What doesn't count? Hatfield. Oh, no, I'm not Hatfield. I'm up near Mulligan Hill. And let me tell you this. Let me tell you, the taxes count no matter where they are. I don't even know what you're talking about. I've been living over here for 27 years. These taxes are the worst in the damn country. And I still love it over here. I still love it over here. So, but I knew that this is where I wanted to be, right? So, that led me to being with WIP. Right? That led me to being with WIP, and then sort of the role I am now, once my football days were over with. And, you know, when I said in 1998 that Angelo was talking about getting me cut, and it was killing me in the morning on the radio, I was not joking about that. I wasn't exaggerating about that. I remember in my early years as a player, when I first came to Philly, right, I got picked up at the airport by teammate Mike Zordich. You guys may know Mike Zordich, man, safety. Z picked me up at the airport for minicamp. We're riding from the airport over to the vet, and he's just giving me a quick little rundown of the city, what it's like to be here, this, that, and the other. And he says, whatever you do, and I still remember this, I've told the story many times. He said, whatever you do, don't read the newspaper and don't listen to WIP. I swear. He said that. So I'm like, okay, newspaper, I understand. Like, what is WIP? So he's like sports talk radio, and he went through the whole thing. And what he wound up doing is actually making me curious about it. I mean, that's what happened, is I became curious about it. So eventually I wound up venturing down the radio dial. And you know, when you're young, who even listens to AM radio? You don't even listen to AM radio. It's FM radio. But for some reason, I found myself on 610 WIP on the AM station. And man, on the way into work, listening to Angelo yell about how terrible the Eagles are and this and that and the other. And on the way home, listening to Howard. Well, listening to Howard rip Allen Iverson like at this time. Like, so I thought it was, first of all, I didn't think it was real. I thought they were characters. I thought I'm like, these people can't be real. I'm listening to, you know, Arson Arnie and Eagle Shirley, all these people on the radio in the morning. I'm like, who the hell are these people? Like, what are they talking about? And so I became intrigued by it, and I became a fan of sports talk radio while I was a player. And through my years of playing here, you know, I went from wanting to do television and be an analyst to saying, man, I want to do sports talk radio. Like, that seems like that's more fun to do. And like that's more of a direct connection with the people, with the fans, because you actually get to talk to them. They call up. These fans are nuts. You know, people are just going crazy. So I thought it was the coolest thing. I'm like, that would be a fun job to do. And so,
Sorry,
no, I don't regret it at all, because quite frankly, when I say the fans helped me become the Eagles fan that I am, like, I grew up a sports fan. I've always been a sports fan, but it's one thing to be a sports fan, and it's one thing to have sports be such an integral part of your life, and this sports town be such an integral part of your life. It determines sometimes your mood, right? Like all those types of things. That's what I didn't know about. Like, that's what I learned. That's what this fan base sort of brought out of me as a passion. I'm a passionate guy, right? Anything that I love doing, I'm going to have a passion for it. It sort of comes through. If you ever hear me on the show, if I feel passionate about something, you're going to know that I feel passionate about it. And this fan base helped bring that out of me, helped cultivate that in me, because I felt like, well, this is where I can be myself. This fan base is fucking nuts. Like, these people are crazy, man. Like, they love this team, right? They love these sports teams. And so that's what I wanted to do. And when I retired in 07, I didn't take a break. Like, I went straight from saying I'm done playing football to how soon can I start at WIP. And so in August of 2007, Tom Lee, who was the general manager at WIP during that time, Cindy Lou, that's my girl right there, Cindy Lou. Cindy Webster, that's my big sister. Love her to death, love her to death. You remember Tom Lee? Yeah, so Tom Lee brought me in. Now, Tom Lee brought me in, and by the time he brought me in, I got up here, he was already gone. Like, he had already left. I didn't know that he had quit the job. He quit the job as soon as he got me up here. And so we wound up bringing in a guy named Andy Bloom, who became our general manager at that time, our program director at that time. And this was in August of 2007, and I've been with WIP since August of 2007. And I started out on the weekends, doing shows with Brian Satari, B-Star. I was thrust into doing Ike at Night shows by myself. That March, 6 months later, Andy Bloom thought it would be a great idea to let me swim on my own. That was the worst freaking idea I ever heard. But I did it, right? I didn't turn down the opportunity, and he was doing it because he wanted to know how bad I wanted to do this, and where I wanted to be at doing this. And so while it may not have been a great idea to do that as early as we did it, and it didn't make for great radio, but I had the love and support of the listening audience. It helped me and was there supporting me. It helped me get through those early years. And it gave me the confidence to keep building on what I was doing and working towards what I would ultimately become. And through that time, through the 18 years that I've been at WIP now. 18 years, it'll be 18 years in August that I've been at WIP. I've been at WIP longer than I've done anything in my life. Except be married. I like that. I appreciate that. Yes, it's the second thing I've done longer than anything else in my life. It's be at WIP, man. And I just, I'm obviously there now, afternoon show with Spike and Fritz. Come on, give it up for Spike and Fritz, man. Come on, man. Listen. No, it's hard to digest. Spike is a lovable guy. He is lovable. So is Fritz. Both of them are lovable. Both of them are my guys. And yeah, I've been in the afternoon, doing the afternoon show now for 7, 8 years now in the afternoon. When I moved up from doing Ike at Night, I had the the honor of working with Howard Eskin for 2.5 years. I was the king. Listen. We all have our crosses to bear, man. I worked with him for 2.5 years, and in all honesty, working with Howard taught me to have tough skin. It taught me to have conviction in what you believe, and knowing how to, stand up and speak up for yourself and not be ran over by anybody, because if you could take it with him, you could take it with anybody back in those days. And so eventually I moved on to Michael Barkan, who I worked with for 5 years in the middays, from Mike and Ike. We did that show. Michael Barkan is still a great friend of mine, and I love like a brother. This guy's been a pioneer in this business for over 30 years. He's another transplant from outside this area that came here and made this his home. So we've always bonded and had that connection, me and Michael B. And then from him, I worked with Chris Carlin for a year. I had a great time working with Chris Carlin, who works in New York now with ESPN. He also does stuff with Rutgers Athletics as a play-by-play guy there. Enjoyed working with Chris, who I'm still in close contact with at times for a year. And then I moved to the afternoons with Johnny Marks. And me and Johnny Marks, we did a great show for about 6 or 7 years. We did a great show for about 6 or 7 years, eventually taking that show from being a middle of the pack sort of show to being the #1 show in our time slot at that time, to where we became the top show in that time slot in the city, and now being with Spike for the last year, I've been doing that. So that hopefully that answers everything. I always got, now I could talk about the Eagles, right? Because I talked about myself long enough, but I'd rather talk about this great football team that we got going on right now. So I'm opening up to questions, and we can do that, and we can talk about our 2-time Super Bowl champion.
Who stays and who's gone?
I can't hear you.
For next year, who do you think might go? Who do you think will stay?
As free agents?
Milton, keep them.
Well, you know what? First of all, I trust Howie. Like, listen, Howie, he's smart with the numbers. They'll figure it out. But I'll tell you this, Zach Bond has to be #1 on the list.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, we found Zach Bond. I don't know, dude. I'll tell you.
Ike Reese 2.0.
2.0. It's like Ike Reese 5.0, man. Are you kidding me? I mean, man. But to honestly, off of what you're saying, he had been a backup for 4 years and a special teams guy, and now he got a chance to be that guy, playing a position he had never played before as a stack linebacker. He was a rush linebacker for the most part. And Vic Fangio, man, my goodness, Vic Fangio.
Oh, yeah.
Thank God for Vic Fangio. Thank God for Vic Fangio and his eye and his vision. Because he saw something in Zach Bond that he said, like they brought in Devin White. They paid Devin White like $6 million to come in here to be a starting linebacker. Zach Bond was supposed to be a backup and a role player. But Vic Fangio saw him and said, no, he is a starter, and he also loved N'Kobe Dean. And so I look at Zach Bond, man. That's a true. That's a fairy tale story right there. So for me, Zach Bond has to be number one on our list to come back. And then I would look at, you know what? I was telling guys, I'm like, Mekhi Becton, right? Like, we got to keep that offensive line together. Like, that offensive line really was like the true. First of all, the fact that they went to Coach Sirianni and said, let's run the football, offensive line. And then they put it on their shoulders and said, you know what? We can do it. And then they went out and did it. So, for me, I think I would make Mekhi Becton number 2. I would make Mekhi Becton number 2. And then I'm looking at, you got to listen, between Milton Williams is younger, Josh Sweat. You got Josh Sweat and Milton Williams.
Can we afford Sweat?
See, I don't even know if we can afford Sweat. Yeah, so.
How we trust?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like
Myles Garrett.
Yeah, Myles Garrett. There. Myles Garrett's gonna cost us draft picks. Yeah, it's gonna cost us draft picks. Yeah. But so I would go Bond, Becton, Milton Williams, then Sweat. That's a tough one though. Yeah, that's a tough one. Milton Williams is pretty damn good. It's pretty good. What you got, Coach?
Other than the love of Philadelphia, what is it in Philly that keeps everybody coming back here?
Wow, you know what? It's what would you say other than the love of Philadelphia?
You yourself, how you say?
So here's what I would say. I would say it's the way you all treat the athletes that play for the city. There's an appreciation that's shown and given from you all as fans that makes athletes feel validated, right? So I was a role player, a backup player, and I've always been made to feel like I was just as good as any starter I played with. Like that's what the fans make you feel. And so because of that, listen, we all as athletes, our egos are fragile, so we need to be in a position where we feel loved and appreciated and that sort of thing. And then I tell all guys that come here, young guys in their first year, guys that come here as free agents, what have you, that there's nothing like being an athlete that's beloved by Philadelphia sports fans. There's just nothing like it. So, but that comes with requirements. That comes with, you gotta play hard. You gotta hustle. And you gotta earn it like that. And I believe most athletes can appreciate that and respect that. Like, I truly do. Like, fans can get somewhat of a bad rap about being tough on athletes. You're not tough on athletes. Athletes are accustomed to being held accountable. They are. We are. Coaches have been holding us accountable since we were young. So we can take being held accountable from fans. Now, listen, some guys can't take it if it's as crucial or as harsh on them. I've never been a quarterback and I've never been the star on a basketball team or a baseball team or a hockey team. So, you know, my scrutiny or what have you isn't the same as another player. So I understand that. But I always say this. Look at the guys that have thrived here, that love being here, all the great athletes that aren't from here, that love to consider Philadelphia their home, and even if they play for other teams, this is the team they want to be identified with. It's for one reason. It's because of you all. It's because there's something that you guys lift us up there. as athletes. And as shallow as that may seem, we as athletes, man, that's something that when the game is over with, especially for those of us who can't play anymore, it's greatly appreciated. It's greatly appreciated, and the athletes that get it, they should reciprocate it. They should reciprocate it, and that's the way I look at it. That's why I'm like, this is home to me. Like I've been here, like I said, I've been here 27 years. Where else am I going? I'm not, my kids were born here. They've been raised here. They went to high school here. I can't stop paying taxes in this state. They go to school in this state. I mean, I thought going to college in the state was a benefit. There's no benefit there. The tuition is still high. Still high.
You sit there very stoically, right, Mr. Smith. I just want to let you know, he's a stoic, hard-ass Pittsburgh Steelers fan.
Oh, he's a Steelers fan? See, you know something? I'm going to tell you, thank you for saying that.
Yeah, facts.
Well, no, because here's the deal. I can sense something.
I'm not clapping.
I can see it. You don't seem like you're into this. Like, I've done enough of these that you're kind of like, yeah, here you
Can
go.
I go now?
Yeah. Steelers fan. Oh my God. It's okay. At least you're not a Giants fan.
Thank God, man. Cowboys fan.
No. Cowboys fan. Well, you know what? You know what?
They're so bad it's not even funny anymore.
I never even thought it would get as bad to a point where we had to have sympathy for Cowboys fans.
Next year's all year, buddy.
Next year's all year.
I mean, I've been saying that since '96.
I know, brother. Yeah, I know. Listen, it's got to be tough, man. Washington made it to the NFC Championship, man.
It's tough.
I tell you what, though, man. Jerry ain't going away no time soon. It's going to be, probably got at least another 5 years, 5 to 10 years where.
And Steve is no better.
That's good for us.
Well, listen, the Eagles are now, like, for some reason, we finally broken that seal of never winning the big game. Now that's all we do is win the big game, like that's what we do now. So I feel like there's a new era of Eagles football, and I mean, let's be honest. Saquon Barkley was heaven sent.
Oh, yeah. Woo. Oh, yeah.
Right? My God, Saquon Barkley, man. Yeah. You know, it's rare when you get a player and even in your wildest dreams, you don't expect to see this. That's what Saquon Barkley was this year. Like Saquon Barkley, I was happy when the Eagles signed Saquon Barkley. I'm like, man, if we can get 1,500 yards out of him, you know, if he plays 14 games, that ought to be good enough. Give us 10 touchdowns, I'll take that. This dude went out there and was the best player in football all year. Should have been the MVP. Was the best player in football this year. We're not in the Super Bowl without Saquon Barkley. Man, I hope he got at least another 3 years left. He got that shit for him, man. Shayshawn Barkley, man. Shay, I've never wanted to erase another team from your career like I want to erase the Giants and Saquon Barkley's career. That's why we need 3 more years of Shayshawn, man, and we will erase the Giants. He already has a Super Bowl.
That's it, you got it. Had straight hair.
And how about our quarterback?
Oh, yeah.
How about our quarterback, man? How about our quarterback? Now I will say, now listen, Saquon to me was the MVP, no doubt about that. But Saquon can't do what he did without Jalen Hurts being out there on that field, doing what he did. And man, this kid has impressed me. I wasn't the biggest fan coming out. I've said this. But that's also why I can appreciate where he's at, because he has earned, or he should have earned, the respect of a lot of fans by now, of everyone by now. Now, he earned my respect in 2022. When he did what he did, when they went to that year, when he was the MVP runner-up, he should have been the MVP that year. I thought he was the best player in football that year. And from that point on, he made me a believer out of him as a player. And, you know, for him to be the type of leader he was this year, it's not easy being a quarterback and not being able to throw the ball and wing it like you want to, do some of the things you want to do, right? But he was able to embrace the change in the offense. I think you heard on that mic'd up how appreciative he was of Saquon Barkley being on the team this year and being one of the leaders on the team. Like that I think that helped Jalen as a player this year, to have someone else be able to take that pressure off of him being the leader on the team. Saquon could do some of those things. And I think that allowed Jalen to be himself and stay within himself this year. And when he was called upon to be at his best, he answered every time. People don't realize, right, since the bye week, the only game the Eagles lost is when he got injured. It's the only game they lost. Else they would have won like 16, 17 straight games. That's how good they were this year. And nothing happens without having a quarterback that could do what he did this year. So I was so happy for him in the Super Bowl that he got to put his talents on display. And now he's a Super Bowl MVP. And you know what? Haters are going to always be out there. But guess what? It becomes a little harder to hate when you got Super Bowl MVP next to you. Like when you got that champion next to you, it becomes a little harder to hate on him. So, you know.
Offensive line.
Oh yeah, no doubt. You're talking about the best offensive line in football. Jeff Stoutland and his guys, Stoutland, you, man, it's like that's why I said when I look at this team, they were the best. To me, they're the best Eagles team ever. Like, I mean, is BG coming back? I don't know. Like, listen, we all love BG. I think we'd all be okay if BG came back, right? Like, yeah. Oh yeah. I'm okay. Yeah. Yeah, I think we all be okay if BG came back.
What do you think?
You know what? I don't know if BG wants. I think BG wants to play for the Eagles and the Eagles only, right? So I don't think he plays for another team. So it has to be the Eagles. So now it boils down to, do the Eagles want to bring BG back? And here's what I'll say. It's funny because I actually said this to BG also. I'm like, regardless of what the decision is in March, just stay ready. Because come August and September, you don't know what can happen. And for a pass rusher, defensive end, BG will always be ready to come off the. If he's ready, if you need him, he'll be ready to go. So, like even if he decides right now that this is what he's gonna do, if something were to happen, training camp injury or what have you, man, I'm calling Brandon Graham first. That's who I'm calling. So. I would love if BG is back, man. I love BG. And that's hard for me to say because he went to that other school. So, you know, so I try not to even think about the fact he went to that other school. I just look at him as an Eagle. Like, he's a great Eagle. I don't even think about the other school. Yeah, that's cool.
School up north.
Yeah.
Who's the better fan base, Eagles or others?
Oh, come on, man. I told you, it's nothing like the Eagles fan base. Nothing like it. Y'all see that parade?
Yeah!
Come on, man. That parade. I thought 17th, the parade in 18 was crazy. parade the other day was crazy. That was, but you know what though? We deserve that, right? Like, we deserve that. We deserve that. We deserve that as Eagles fans. Like, you're a Steelers fan, so you have 6 of them. You don't really know. You know?
They're antiques.
Yeah, they're antiques though. Yeah. When was the last time that was? Like 2010? 2008? Damn. 2008, I just retired in 2007. It's been a long time, man.
Ike, what's your best Conklin story?
My best Conklin story. I don't really have a Conklin story. Well, listen, Conklin's doing Tornado Shapiro now, man. That's something else.
How about the precipitation?
Right. Lose. Yeah. So I will say this about they invited me one time, Joe Conklin and Big Daddy. You guys remember the late great Big Daddy Graham, right? We had him here. Yep. So he and Ed, they had me open for them at the Broadway Theater in Pittman one year. I think I had just retired too, so I was like stupid. I was like, all right, I'll do it. I didn't realize there was so many people that was coming to this thing. So when I stepped out there and I looked at the crowd, it was, man, it was packed. It was a packed house. And I was so nervous. They had given me jokes, like they had written jokes for me to say. I completely forgot all the jokes they gave me.
And you're busting my chops?
Yeah, like seriously. I started by trying to tell the jokes, but I was mixing the jokes, so I was totally messing it up. So eventually what I did, I was just like, you know what, I'll just start telling stories about WIP and my experience in WIP. So long story short, it was supposed to be like a 4-minute little monologue. I was up there for like 17, 18 minutes, and they were yelling like Conklin and Big Daddy were like, get the fuck off the stage. Get off the stage. They wanted me to, they brought I started running into their time, like doing the show, so. But that's how nervous I was doing the show. I was just rambling. Kind of like what I'm doing right now. You think I don't know I've been up here a long time already? Like, I've been up here a long time. What we got, man? I'm glad you asked me about Coach. Because Coach is my guy, man. I like Coach Sirianni. Didn't start off liking him, but I'm just saying. He's another one that he earned my respect, man. He just did. And, you know, if you think about the guys that the impact they had on this team winning the championship, it may take 3 or 4 names before you get to Nick Sirianni. But you can easily make the case that you should start with his name. Because, and I say that to say, you know, it's hard to quantify what setting a culture means and setting the standard for what your players and the expectations they have. That's hard to sort of put out there for fans to see. So when that question was always asked this past offseason about, well, what does Coach Sirianni do? What does he do? What does he do? It was hard to defend what he does or explain what he does, because if you're not in the locker room, it's hard if you haven't been in the locker room. And from the outside, me trying to explain it without being in the locker room makes it even harder for people to actually accept it. But the one thing I always stayed true to was how much his players will come out and be in support of him and defend him at times and go to bat for him. And that's what made me believe that what he was doing had a better chance to succeed than fail. And here's why, because if everybody's pulling in the same direction, at least we all are pulling in the same direction. That means we're going to fail together and we're going to succeed together. And we're going to accept that. Problems occur when people are pulling in different directions as if they feel like they have the answer to everything. That's when you're destined to fail. And the one thing I recognize with this team is that they were usually all pulling in the same direction. In the same direction. Even when it didn't look great, even when it looked at 2-2, yes. Early in the year, I listened to those players, man, and they all still had his back. And they all still believed in his messages, and he was still supporting them. And so, Coach has this thing, right, where we all want to play calling, play design. Everybody has to be Sean McVay and Kyle Shanahan. By the way, Kyle Shanahan still ain't won a Super Bowl. But everybody has to be those guys, right, the play designers. And I played for Andy Reese, and believe me, I know what that's like. So I understand the intrigue behind that and wanting that assurance that you got somebody who knows what he's doing. I get that. But there's also something to playing for a guy like John Harbaugh, who I played for, who rose from being a special teams coach to being a Super Bowl winning head coach, who's now a Hall of Fame coach, and he doesn't call plays. He's never called plays, but he's a leader of men, and he knows how to relate to his players. And that's what I saw in Coach Sirianni. It doesn't mean he doesn't know football. It just means maybe his biggest attribute is how he communicates with his players and how he gets them to buy in. And to a man on that team, they'll all go to bat for Coach Sirianni. We got a good one, man. And listen, he's a little different. But you know what, though? We're different. Right? That's why he fits in with us. He fits in with us. We're not like the regular fan base. Like, we do things the way we do things. Right? Pittsburgh. You don't even have fans. Like, at least Pittsburgh does have real fans. Like, the Steelers have real fans. The Cowboys don't even have real fans. Those aren't real fans. Those aren't real fans. Those aren't real fans. But no, Coach Sirianni, man, I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan. And listen, he wears his emotions on his sleeves, and sometimes his emotions get the best of him, and he's going to shave his head and all that type of stuff. But he's our guy, man. He's our guy. Like Doug. Like Dougie P. You know, Dougie P was different, man. Like Doug. You know? And we got two. Both of them have won Super Bowls. And their players love him. So, you know, Coach Sirianni, I believe he's going to be around for a long time, man. Like Coach. Yep.
You think Andy Reese done?
Andy Reese done? No, I don't think Andy Reese done. Not yet. Is he going to retire?
Is he going to retire this year?
No. To do what? Like, yeah. And Coach, he doesn't play golf. He doesn't do anything. Like, yeah. So, like, coaching is what he does. Like, coaching is what he does. So, he's probably going to do that as long as his health is good. And listen, he got Patrick Mahomes, man. Listen, we may be looking at the beginning of a nice little rivalry here with the Chiefs, man. Yeah, like that. And listen, isn't it great to know that even as great as the Chiefs have been, when they played the Eagles have been the better team pretty much every time they played the Chiefs. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. PTA. You guys know about PTA? No, I didn't know, man. Listen, I mean, this is an older crowd. Like, you know, you guys are like, yeah.
Started some shit now.
I respect that. you got for me, Cindy Lou? Oh, what was it like playing with Brian Dawkins?
Oh, man, he's a guy down here.
Listen, Brian Dawkins is still. So it's like three guys that I played with that like, I was sort of, amazed by their athleticism, right? Like you catch yourself watching them in practice, like, God damn, he's pretty good, okay? Dog obviously is one. T.O. and Mike Vick. Like when I watched them, like Mike could throw a ball 70 yards just like, just throwing it like that, T.O. was like, when T.O. T.O. came to the practice field and he looked like a superhero. Like he just, with the tights on and he never wore a shirt. Like all his muscles were always out. Like he loved him some T.O. But Dog, the thing about Dog was, he didn't view himself as a star player. Like T.O. was a star player. He knew he was a star player. Like T.O., like he said, he loved Michigan. But Dog was a guy who his confidence wasn't necessarily there early in his career. The ability was there, but who he became, I don't know if he necessarily had the confidence that that's who he was early in his career. And that's why he's my favorite teammate, because I got to watch him from developing into what he developed into. And so I saw that transformation, and his practice habits were always game speed. He practiced at game speed. He practiced like he was in a game. He could disguise as if he was about to blitz by lining up at the line of scrimmage, and he could, at the snap of a finger, he's playing cover 3 as the deep safety, deep down the middle of the field, and so he, when he came up with when he developed the whole Weapon X sort of mantra and figure, it was pretty much because he was a weapon that was being used by Jim Johnson, the late great Jim Johnson. And it was because how athletic he was and how versatile he was as an athlete. He could play linebacker, he could play cornerback, he could play safety. He could do all these things, and he did it so fearlessly. So watching him in practice, it was like, dude, he's moving at a different speed than everybody else is on the field. Every practice, no matter whether it was spring ball, whether it was training camp, two-a-days, that was the thing that I was always most impressed with him. And he wasn't the biggest guy. I mean, it was like 6 feet. He's 5'11", 6 feet. He'll say 6 feet. He'll say 6 feet. He played like he was 6 feet, so we'll give him 6 feet. But he was like 200, 205 pounds. That was his size. But man, he hit like a ton of bricks. Man, he hit like a ton of bricks.
How big was Algie Crumpler?
Oh yeah. I've seen Dog hit teammates. We call it friendly fire. Like, he'd come in there, hey, if you already got the ball carrier wrapped up, he's killing you and the ball carrier. Like that was Dog, man. Like Dog, he was man, he is my favorite athlete, man. He was special. He was special to watch. He was special to watch, and man, what a great person. What a great teammate. Great friend. Like, talk about having brothers. Like that dude, like all of us as teammates. It's rare when you all feel the same way about the same guy. Oh, B West, now he's number 2 on my list. Come on, man. B West. Now, B West is like my little brother. B West is my little brother. And B West was one of my favorites because he wasn't the biggest guy. You know, B West had the biggest heart. One of the toughest guys I played with. And I can't give him 6 feet. He really is 5'9", 5'8". I don't care how much he wants 6 feet. Yeah, he is 6 feet. But he had the heart of a lion, man. He had the heart of a lion. And it's funny you brought up B, because those, B West, well, on camera, so I should be saying who my favorite teammates were.
It's local.
Well, Trotter's my brother. Me and Trot go all the way back to the combine in Indianapolis. We got drafted in the same draft, and we worked out in Indianapolis at the combine. My first recollection of Trot was when they called him up to weigh in. He weighed 260 pounds, and we all looked at each other like, he in the wrong group. Like he had to be a D lineman. Because most linebackers back then weighed like 235, 240. You know, and Trot was 265, something like that. And he got out there and he did all his drills, and he was just as athletic and as quick as a lot of us were. So that was my first that was my first encounter with Jeremiah. Was at the combine. And it's funny because Trot and I have been close friends really since then. Since we got here, obviously our families close. I've known his boys since they were babies. I used to babysit his oldest daughter, Tramiel. You know, his wife and my wife were very good friends before she passed away a year or so ago. So watching Jeremiah Jr. Play for the Eagles, man, it's great. It's great. It's great. It's awesome. That was, so many of us were happy when that pick came in and that the Eagles made that pick. So, and how about that, man? He got a Super Bowl ring in his first year. And Super Bowl ring. It's always that one question. Turns the whole thing.
He's got his book.
Now, AJ, listen. I think AJ will be all right. Yeah, AJ will be all right. He's right. As long as he's reading, what's it called? Innocence, it's called. Inner excellence, yeah. As long as he's reading his book, he'll be okay. And in all seriousness, though, I honestly believe passing game will be more effective next year. I just do. I just believe that. I think they did what they had to do to get through this year. Those guys had to sacrifice. I'm sure it wasn't easy for them, but look what they got out of it. They got a championship that nobody can ever take away. So, you know, I tell you what, and I would tell this to not just AJ, but I would tell this to any player that has a ring. There are so many of us that wish we had a chance. That wish we stood on that pedestal with that championship. So you gotta cherish that thing, man. You gotta cherish it, because that's a team that's gonna walk together forever for the rest of their lives. So I think AJ will be good.
Fucking champion.
That's right, he's a fucking champion. Yeah. I want to tell you guys, thank you guys for having me tonight. I enjoyed it. I hope I didn't ramble on too long, but I know I can get it done, brother.
Hey, Ike's going nowhere. Ike's going nowhere, and he wants to have the young adults in line first to get signatures. So all you youngins, boogie on over here. Matt? How young?
I'm not young anymore.
This has been a QBC television production, in association with our partners and sponsors. QBC broadcasts on Comcast Cable Channel 22, and live streams its programming on Facebook and YouTube. All rights reserved by Quinn Media and QBC, programming that serves the South Jersey market.